Hi, this is Mike of Nearly Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. Today's mission is to get the Mun Hopper 3 over to the taxi stand, where there is an inventory container that has fuel connection points, and the stranded Moon rover, which I made ages and ages and ages and ages ago, which was actually the first idea of a Mun Hopper, so it would have fuel in it, and it would hop about and it would refuel things. And in fact, it refueled my aluminium rhinoceros as part of a tourist contract way back when. That was ages ago. And it's basically been stuck there ever since. So the plan is to get the Mun Hopper over there, hook it all up with the Kerbal attachment system, refuel the rover and the Mun Hopper itself, and then fly both of them individually back to the mining station, which is 20-30 kilometers away, and then transfer lots of science and all sorts of good stuff down there and use the research base that's there. Now, I have a slight problem in that I wasn't paying attention to my ore mining situation when I was doing the actual mission to bring the inventory all the way over to the Mun. And so now my Mun Hopper is full of ore and it's got a full tank of fuel, which means that fundamentally I've lost about 500 delta V, and that's going to become important. My other problem is that if you look at the legs, that you can see that they're all wonky now, and that means that my leg balancing script is much less useful because the legs in fact are splayed out extra, and so those both are things that are going to bite me in the bum later on. However, the actual flight was pretty reasonable. It went pretty well. Although I was staring at the fuel gauges very, very nervously. And eventually I did find myself, well, I've pulled up short and slightly to the left, but the main problem was that I was right over some craters, and trying to find an area that I could land on, given how little fuel I had, was really rather tricky. In the end, I just found something that had a reasonable slope, and just said, right, I'm landing here, and I'm just going to hope for the best. And we'll see what happens.
Well, that pretty much defines a pretty awful landing. Wow. I cannot believe I survived that at all. Yeah, so the basic things that went wrong were I hadn't paid attention to my ore situation when I was mining over the other side, because I was all the time that I was spending getting the you can't see it, there's inventory launcher is all in that pile there. So ooh, look at that, good lord. So in there is my inventory launcher that I sent last time, and that took that took a while to do. And in all that time, because I wasn't paying attention, the mining was going on. So it ended up with a full set of ore, which when that happens, I have 500 delta V less in my craft. And this is a situation where I really needed that 500 delta. I really could have done with that 500 delta V. That would have been really, really handy. But I didn't get it. So I really had just enough to land. Like just enough. Oh, I need to wait for that. I cannot. Oh man. And in fact, I had just enough with the fact that I was making fuel. I mean, how much delta did I end up with? I've got 114, and I have been converting a bit already. So I had 114 delta V left. Well, less than 140. I had less than 140 delta V left. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah. So, and I only just made it. In fact, my original, my original landing point was like slope of 30 odd degrees. So Lord alone knows how I survived that. The other problem I have at the minute is that the leg balancing script is no longer, I think, of much use. You can see how much those legs they're no longer vertical, or these mounting plates are no longer vertical. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if I in fact can fix that, because I don't think these count as being broken. It's the link between this leg and the gantry rail is the problem, and that's kind of gone skew. And I don't know how much of that is like the game being very clever and you know, saying this is what would have happened, and therefore, you know, that's the I'll do that. Okay. The airport. I don't know how much of that is the game just being very clever and saying this is how, you know, this would have happened this way, or whether they're just saying, yeah, the game has just got a bit confused about where everything is. And that's what's happened. So, my cunning plan, and it was a reasonably cunning plan. I could still kind of sort of do it now, I think about it. But basically, I'm going to have to, well, not do mining. I put my mining props out, but I'm not actually going to be doing any mining because I have tons of ore, and I in fact have more. That was part of my problem, was I have too much ore, and I don't have a facility for dumping ore. I believe there are mods which allow you to do that, but I don't have those particular mods. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do conversion so that I can actually get enough delta V. It should be it's going to be, you know, it's a couple of kilometers, so it's a fairly short hover. And down there is nice and flat. I mean, you can see how bad it was. I've had to land on a very narrow bit here, and I was very lucky that I was able to go from, I mean, I think I was back here somewhere, like this kind of slope, and I wouldn't just tumble down the mountainside. I mean, it's bad enough. I mean, here is what? Where's 17 degrees. 17 degrees is now, I mean, you can see how bad that is. And I suspect that leg is the only thing that's stopping me from falling down. I think if I'd been more straight on, that might have been a problem. So I might have to start thinking about that when I land. What orientation do I land at? Make sure that I've got a leg that's pointing downhill. Hoo boy, eh? So my cunning plan was to go over to the actual the taxi stand, grab the there are these cable points which will allow me to connect up the various bits and pieces. I'll actually be able to connect those vehicles, so I can refuel my original Lunar rover, and get that back to. I think that's where I want to be. Yeah, the mining station, which is 26 kilometers away. So I should be able to get that back, and then get this back, and have refueling ports to allow ships to refuel. And then I want to be over the mining station. The mining station has a science bay, an actual science research lab, and I'll be able to dump a lot of this data, and I'll be able to keep multiple copies of data, which I can't do at the minute. It's also I mean, there's other useful things you can do. Like you convert experiments into data, and that data is converted into science, which can then be transmitted back to Kerbal. But that is obviously going to have to wait for a little bit, because I need to I need to get all this stuff actually over there. And I mean, I probably would have been fine, absolutely fine, if I'd not allowed the ore to build up, because the ore build up is what caused that problem. Right, do one more of these. I don't know. Things being transmitted. I'm going to send one more transmission. I want as much transmitting done as possible, as I believe I've already mentioned. But that does require an awful lot of data. I'm going to grab one more mystery goo, I think. How many experiments do I have on me? Got mystery goo, temperature, atmospheric, seismic, gravity, materials, and another mystery goo. So I've already got several mystery goos. Okay, fine. Let's grab all that. None of it looks like I can do. Okay. I might. There's a mod that I now want. For handling large volumes of science, because as it stands, you have to go through each one individually every time. Technically speaking, there's a open board now. Now, what I do want to do. We've got 83 science experiments to look through, which is kind of annoying. So I want to transmit that. And now, see, the annoying thing is I now have to click through the other 81 things. Right, I only wanted to make that one change, but now I've got to click through all those 80 odd things. Another EVA. Surface sample. Now, if that's Stelele route, Stelele has not done much. Right. Now, yeah, I don't have any option to repair anything, so I was wondering if I mean, maybe I need to get closer. So let's try getting close, and let's see if I can repair. Assuming you can actually get down the ladder. Now the thing is, she's only a level 1 engineer. I don't think. I think she's a 1-star. I don't think she's definitely not a 3-star. Poor ass. Not her fault. Don't need that no more. But she is only a 1-star, I think. Yeah, she's 1-star. So I don't know, even if it was possible. I don't know if this is in a state that it thinks it needs repairing. We'll be bashing ahead against the underside of the rocket. Yeah. The leg does not think it needs repairing, and I suspect even if it did, that she wouldn't be qualified to do it. So I think that's an issue. If I make more Mun Hoppers or hoppers in general, that is clearly a thing I'm going to think about. One of the thoughts I've been having, in fact, is to not use landing, official stock landing legs, but to actually make my own landing legs from infernal robotic bits. And thus, raise and lower them at will. So, right, I need to convert ore into fuel. I may actually need to do some mining. And then I can go and I can experiment with hooking up things. But that is going to be later. So, thanks so much for watching. Do hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. Come visit nearlyenough.com. Until next time, reach the stars and just keep an eye on how much ore you're mining.